Let's begin. James Baldwin, August 2nd, 1924 to December 1st, 1987. He was a novelist, essayist, playwright, poet, and African American social critic. Explored palpable yet unspoken intricacies of racial, sexual, and class distinctions in Western societies, most notably in the mid 20th century America. Fictionalized fundamental personal questions and dilemmas amid complex social and psychological pressures, thwarting the equitable integration not only of black people but also gay and bisexual men, while depicting some internalized obstacles to such individuals' quest for acceptance. Became a spokesman for the civil rights movement in 1963, published a long essay, The Fire Next Time, in which he predicted the outburst of black anger to come. Dick Gregory, October 12, 1932 to August 19, 2017. Civil rights activist, social critic, writer, entrepreneur, conspiracy theorist, comedian, and occasional actor. Began studying African history after being told that Africans had no history before European colonization. Took on a range of issues, including ending the Vietnam War, feminism, Native American rights, and apartheid in South America. Regularly fasted in protest of world events, was arrested dozens of times for his causes. In 1961, joked in front of a white audience, "Last time I was down south, I walked into this restaurant and this white waitress came up to me and said, 'We don't serve colored people here.' I said, 'That's all right. I don't eat colored people. Bring me a whole fried chicken.'" Authored the controversial Nigger, an autobiography, in 1964. Elijah McCoy, May 2nd, 1844 to October 10th, 1929. Canadian-American inventor and engineer, son of former slaves from Kentucky who escaped via the Underground Railroad to Canada. Although a great financial sacrifice, McCoy's parents sent him to Edinburgh, Scotland. He studied mechanical engineering. Noted for 57 U.S. patents, most involved the lubrication of steam engines. Sold many of his patents for a fraction of their worth, never capitalized on his own inventions. The device he designed made others millionaires. His oil drip cup invention was so amazing, the people termed the phrase the real McCoy, which now refers to something authentic and of high quality. Elijah Muhammad, October 7th, 1897 to February 25th, 1975. Peace be upon him. Born in the Jim Crow South, moved to Detroit, converted to Islam and studied under Master Fard. After being Master Fard's representative for the Nation of Islam, he became the leader. Mentored Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, and Muhammad Ali. Refused induction into the military during World War II. He was jailed for 5 years and is believed to be the inspiration for Muhammad Ali to do the same. Oversaw the largest growth in the history of the Nation of Islam. Established the newspaper Muhammad Speaks, a University of Islam, private elementary and high school, grocery stores, restaurants, and more. Purchased land and businesses to provide housing and employment for the members of the NOI and beyond. Authored Message to the Black Man in America and How to Eat to Live. Fannie Lou Hamer, October 6, 1917 to March 14, 1977. Voting rights activist, civil rights leader, and philanthropist. Worked for the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or the SNCC. Helped poor and needy families in her Mississippi community. Vice chair of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, or MFDP. Elected as a National Democratic Party delegate in 1972. Died on March 14, 1977. And according to the New York Times, none of us would be where we are today and had she not been here then. Francis Cress Welsing, March 18, 1935 to January 2nd, 2016. American-born Afrocentrist, psychiatrist, and author. believed people of color needed to liberate themselves psychologically from white domination. In 1974, she authored the Cress theory of color confrontation and racism, white supremacy. States people of color must gain a better understanding of the behavioral maneuverings of whites in order to avoid being manipulated into a subordinate position. In 1991, wrote the ISIS Papers, Keys to the Colors, a collection of 25 essays examining the neuroses of white supremacy. Wrote about melanin theory, a claim that white people are the genetically defective descendants of albino mutants. Felt whites strive to maintain a superior social position and manipulate non-whites and themselves into thinking that they are the worldwide numerical majority instead of the minority. Haile Selassie I, July 23, 1892 to August 27, 1975. Oh, come on. Ethiopia's regent from 1916 to 1930, emperor from 1930 to 1974, served as chairperson of the Organization of African Unity, a former member of the Solomonic dynasty. Forced into exile after Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1936, became the face of the resistance and went before the League of Nations in Geneva for assistance. He secured the help of the British in reclaiming his country and reinstituting his powers as emperor in 1941. Internationalist views led to Ethiopia becoming a charter member of the United Nations. Rastafari movement perceives Haile Selassie as a messianic figure who will lead a future golden age of eternal peace, righteousness, and prosperity. Haitian Revolution, 1791 to 1804. Successful anti-slavery and anti-colonial insurrection overthrowing the French led to the West pulling out of the institution of slavery throughout the Americas. Only slave uprising that led to the founding of a state free from slavery and ruled by non-whites and former captives. Self-liberated slaves destroyed slavery, fought to preserve their freedom, and with the collaboration of mulattoes, founded the sovereign state of Haiti. Challenged long-held beliefs about black inferiority and enslaved persons' capacity to achieve and maintain freedom. I apologize. Harlem Renaissance, Harlem, New York, 1920s to the mid-1930s. A cultural, social, and artistic explosion, the New Negro movement, grew out of the changes that had taken place in the African American community since the abolition of slavery. Period of time when African Americans were encouraged to celebrate their heritage, racial pride, creative expression, and intellectualism. Significant figures included Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Claude McKay, Zora Neale Hurston, Bessie Smith, Paul Robeson, and Langston Hughes. Huey P Newton, Ph.D., February 17, 1942 to August 22, 1989. Political activist and revolutionary, co-founded the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense in 1966, overcame illiteracy and attended Merritt College and the University of San Francisco School of Law. In 1980, he earned a Ph.D. in social philosophy from the University of California, Santa Cruz. Allied for freedom, full employment, decent housing, education, and military exemption for African Americans. Sponsored a free breakfast program for children, sickle cell anemia tests, free food and shoes, and a school. He was shot and killed in Oakland, California, August 22, 1989. Frederick Douglass, February 1818 to February 20, 1895. Abolitionist, author, social reformer, and diplomat. He was born enslaved in Maryland and learned how to read and write at 12 years old. He taught and other enslaved people to read and write In 1838, he escaped by pretending to be a sailor. He joined the abolitionist movement by delivering speeches and writing in the Frederick Douglass Weekly, the North Star, and many other newspapers. He supported women's rights and was the only African American to attend the Seneca Falls Convention. After the Civil War, he became president of the Freedmen's Savings Bank. In 1872, he received a nomination for the vice president of the United States, making him the first African American on the presidential ballot.